Yo, welcome back to another episode of Wake Up with Wops. These are my favorite episodes, guys. The weekend, everybody's drooling on their pillow from the night before, and we're here up early grinding. Let's look at the SPY and QQQ first. Then we're gonna get into my new trades. I did get stopped out of a trade, and then some new stocks to look for next week. So starting off with the SPY, we are above the 9 EMA. We did break out, but it's kind of like just consolidating after breakout. It's not really just going straight up. As long as we hold here, then eventually break out, then I think we are going to look pretty bullish. The QQQ kind of still lagging from its all-time high, but just look at this, just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Eventually, I think it's going to just break loose and it's going to look good for tech. Tech in general has just been lagging. Like semiconductors have been doing good, but other like big techs like Tesla, Microsoft, things like that are not doing well. Now let's go into the stock that I got stopped out on. Started off with Pega. So thankfully we did get stopped out on this and I didn't continue holding it because look, it looked ugly. I knew it was going to hit that 200-day moving average, so I got out right there around 55 and now it's around 51. That's why stop losses are important. We were up on this trade at first, so it was looking good. Then we had some bad news on this day and we kind of loosened our stop a little bit just under that bad news because the reaction the next day was pretty good and we were back to being positive. So it was looking good and then eventually just started rolling over. And once we lost that low right here that happened on January 2nd, it was not looking good. No buenos. So I just cut the loss there. I don't have a hard stop, guys. I use a mental stop and I'm always looking at my charts. So once I just see it, then I manually just go and sell the shares. But I entered into some new stocks. Ocklo's the number one stock I entered into, the one I liked probably the most. As you can see here, it broke out with this candle on January 9th, then pulled back and held this 9 EMA and 50-day moving average. We entered when we saw it on an intraday pullback, and now we're up a little bit, a couple points, and we're looking good. Hopefully the moving averages continue curling up and then we get to our target price around 120, 130. I think I'll take some profits here. If not, we could hold it for maybe even a bigger, longer hold. Oklo is doing good with the nuclear energy power, that type of narrative. And then again, we're back with JP Morgan Chase. Guys, this is our first trade of 2026. It broke out of this box breakout and then we entered on the pullback on the 9 EMA. Beautiful trade, but then some credit cap news that Trump came out on, then the earnings. So some bad news came out and we got out on that right before earnings. It's pulled back to the 50-day moving average. And right when we entered, we remounted the 50-day and it was looking good, but of course it's a long weekend. We have Martin Luther King on Monday, so the market opens on Tuesday. Usually long weekends on Friday right before close to start selling off, and that's what it did. So we're a little bit below. The candle's not looking too well, but as long as we hold this low, I have my stop loss under that. Financials are doing good, and we love JP Morgan Chase as a stock and bank. Just going over the positions real quick. IONQ looking good. I've been holding this for a while, but finally above the 50-day moving average. Had a good 6% move on Friday. Tesla lagging. This is like the big tech lagging. Hopefully it keeps this lower low right here and makes a higher low. And then we could continue going higher for Tesla. I really like this stock for the long term. ARC, we talked about this previously. We just entered a little bit below entry, but holding the moving averages, looking good. And then Iron, killer day, up 12% on Friday. I was so close to maybe taking some profits, but I'm just going to set it and forget it. We already have our target price around 65.75. Posted it on Twitter and then my stop loss. So I'm going to just hold for a bigger move for Iron. I really like this stock. I missed the move here when it was just going straight up. So hopefully I can catch the move now. All right, now is the fun part. We went over my loss, my two new trades, and an update of my positions. Now we're going to look at A plus setups, getting ready for stocks that we might enter into the new week. Starting off with ANET looking good above the moving averages, the 50-day, 9 EMA, and 20-day moving average. When we go on the weekly, I think it looks a little bit cleaner. You can see here, just right at that previous breakout level, that resistance is going to turn into support soon. I like the anticipation play right here. If you enter, that it finally remounts like 133 and then continue going higher. It's a nice continuation pattern. If we get above this level, I could see it break into all-time highs. A-Lab, look at this, breaking out of this like flat top bottom, making a bottom right here. It tested multiple times and now it's finally above. If it stays above, I'm really liking A-Lab for a move back to all-time high around like the 260s. AVGO, like I said, semiconductors have been hot, and this was looking very, very good earlier in like December, late last year. It was breaking out, but then it just started pulling back. If we see a move back up there, I'm thinking it finally breaks out and we get to all-time highs. AMD, this is probably one of my favorite semiconductor stocks. We hit such a good trade on this in 2025, and now it's looking good. Let's go on the weekly, mate. Might be a little bit more cleaner here. Yeah, you can see here, this is that all-time break. Pulled back, and now we're at that level again. I love that stock. Have it on watch, high watch. Lemonade, you can see here, the more times it taps, the more chances it's going to break out. So this first one got rejected. This, we call this number 2, got rejected. And then 3, it looked like it was finally going to break out, but then rejected. Once it just consolidates a little bit more and comes for that 4th time to break out, I think Lemonade is going to be a very, very hot stock. Look at the 50-day moving average just pointing straight up. Core Reef, this looks like a beauty. You can see here, bouncing right here, pulled back, broke below, and kind of made like a little double bottom here. Moving averages, you can see here, curling up and crossing over. The 200-day moving average is just forming right now because this stock just IPO'd recently. So that moving average is just forming right here at 103. Watch some rejection there, but a pullback to this level to the 90 EMA around 80-90 bucks. If we see a pullback there and it holds, I think Core Weave is like an A+++ setup. So we're going to be watching that, hopefully enter there, and then we could anticipate the breakout of 103 and then continue going higher. Labu, this is a 3x leveraged ETF following biotech sector, and you can see here biotech has been very, very hot. We actually traded this earlier in 2025. I wish I just held it because look at this. We entered here, took an exit there, and look at where it's at right now. So anyways, looking good. Watch for more consolidation, maybe a pullback to the 50-day average and hold. And then that will be probably a good enter to anticipate a breakout in biotech. VRT, this deals like nuclear energy, which also is like Oklo. We decided to go with Oklo, but I almost entered into VRT instead. You can see here because the 9 EMA is crossing over the 50-day average. I marked it here and just having a rejection here at this like resistance. Hopefully a little bit more consolidation, let the moving averages catch up, and I think it will break out of that little downtrend VRT has been in. LC, this is a bank. I really like LC. It's been very, very hot. I've only really traded it once, but I had it on my watch list and I missed plenty of setups on this stock. This is probably another setup I'm probably gonna miss out here. It's a flag breakout. You got the pull here, then the flag, and it's looking like it's gonna break out. Earnings in 10 days, so you could probably enter this for a quick 5-day swing, 1-week swing. I think we're gonna break out here for LC. And then lastly, FAS. This deals with financial sector, and it's also a 3x leveraged ETF. So be aware of that. But this basically just follows the sector of financials. And you can see it's pulled back to the 50-day average and now recovering. Very strong sector. It was strong until we had that news of the credit cap. Also financial, like the banks are going through earnings right now. The reason I picked JPM instead of going with that ETF is because I already had earnings. So now we're just doing a quick post-earnings reversal trade on this. I don't have to deal with other earnings for major banks coming up. I have 4 more bonus stocks for you guys in my earnings and breakout watch list, starting with UAL, which is United Airlines. Airlines and transportation has been doing good, showing relative strength lately. Look, you see here breaking out and then just pulling back and kind of held that previous resistance as new support, and now remounted the 9 EMA and 20-day moving average. Maybe some more consolidation. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes and tries to make a little higher low, and then you can enter there and then hopefully ride the wave back up. RDW, aerospace and defense, has been killing it. And look at this bottom of RDW. A lot of aerospace and defense stocks are at all-time highs. This one's coming out of a bottom, so keep this on watch list because this has room to catch up. The reason why I didn't enter into this is because if we go to the sector, XAR is the sector of aerospace and defense. Look how extended it is. All-time highs, very extended. I think some consolidation or pullback is going to come, and that might affect RDW. So I'm going to just wait for the pullbacks. A pullback here to these moving averages and holding might be a better entry there. I do really like it though. Let me delete this to show you guys that when we zoom out, it's coming out of a bottom, breaking that 200-day moving average, which is that long-term trend. It's looking like a beauty. Plug. Look at this, consolidating right under this resistance. The moving averages are right under. This deals with electronic production equipment, Plug Power. It's looking like it's going to break out anytime soon. Very cheap stock for people that like doing the cheap stocks. I have my eyes on this. I think it's going to start running once the market gets hot. I'm loving it. And WGS, this deals with medical and nursing services, was looking pretty hot. It's pulled back all the way to the 200-day moving average. It looked better on Thursday when it was holding the 200-day average. Now, not too well. Just wait for a remount maybe of the 9 EMA around 118, 120. If not, if we hold above the 200-day average, maybe around 113, I think that would be a good entry spot for a longer-term hold for WGS. And that's it, guys. Just going over my portfolio and some new stocks you could enter into in the upcoming week. Peace.